Network on the Straight Talk Morning Show. I said it backwards. My name is Andre Hill. I'm your host, and we have I call us the three wise men. We have our elder statesman, Terrence Lake. He's the elder statesman of our United Aboriginal American Republic, and they're from the Council of Elders, Terrence Lake in Detroit, Michigan. How you doing this morning, sir?
Grand Rising, everyone. I'm doing fine. We got a very comfortable temperature right now, 75 degrees, overcast, a little bit of rain, but couldn't ask for a better day. Just glad to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, I hear that the sun has turned into a laser up in the Midwest and Tennessee and all those areas out there, and it's cooler here in Florida than it is up north in most terms. But
wow.
Hey, is that frequency we're generating? Because anybody that's in that demonic source that want to continue to divide us as a species, they get ready to suffer. So the frequency is working. Also, we have our co-host, an engineer and a Juris Doctor of our Aboriginal nation, Andre Hill Jr. What's going on, man?
Everything is good. I'm sitting here looking at these gray hairs in my head, man.
You don't have no gray hair. That's just a reflection of the light.
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that, Chairman.
Yes, my goodness.
Lord, I thought it was lit. I was like, nah, that's my
hair. So any word? How's your generation faring? Are they, falling apart now with the craziness that's going on?
No, you know what? I think they're handling the. I think we're handling. Let me say we. Let me include myself in. I think we're handling the paradigm shift pretty well. My concern on behalf of us, for us, is, how we gonna plan and strategize our own reconstruction era that we about to go through. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm most concerned about. I wonder what the mass will and initiative is, but we're gonna get to it. But other than that, I think we're doing all right. I think we're doing okay.
All right, well, that's a good segue into the topics that we have going on today. And you know what? I didn't pull them up because I was so excited about.
You know what? I got you. Hey, go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah, I'm so excited about the videos and what we're going to be talking about today. But anyway, the show that we have put, the topics that, as I always post every Friday around 3:30 at 4 o'clock in the evening. This is going to be an interesting show because we've been talking about getting the right frequency, and we're gonna share some things with you on why we need to get the right frequency. So as stated, good afternoon, family. Tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Straight Talk Network. At our YouTube channel, if you go to my Facebook page, you can get click on the blue highlight and it'll take you to YouTube, or you can watch us on my Facebook page at Andre Hill Sr. Long ago, the Haitians discovered a frequency to force the colonizing demons off their land. We're going to tap into this frequency for the salvation of our children and our species. Also, Andre Jr. will discuss the necessity of creating a new organic reality matrix for Aboriginals, melanated people, and possibly mankind. He's going to explain to you who mankind really is. All right. So, as I said in the post, miss this one, and you may become collateral damage along with your slave masters. Tune in and be enlightened. Now, I'm always wanting to fire missiles at the demonic system that we're operating in. And I try to do it in all the different languages that we speak, and especially with people from my generation who has been totally indoctrinated into this system or this illusion. And, you know, and I had a chance when I was at my family reunion over the past weekend. And, you know, I wanted to stay away from broadcasting that because I want them demons to realize I don't need you messing with my family, you know, because I was born into this family. You don't need to challenge them right now. I promise you there's going to be repercussions. But anyway, but what I did notice, you know, some of the people from my generation, you know, they look at it, you know, and particularly the book that we wrote, Lucifer's Revenge. Well, if it's got Lucifer's name on it, oh, what is it about devil worshiping? And I went like, no, it's explaining how we got here. It's explaining the entity that you are fearful of, how it was allowed to come to earth, and how the Most High did it. They allowed the Lucifer agenda to come to earth just to test us. It's a test. You know, because, you know, our civilization got into its teenage years and started smelling itself and felt that it didn't have to follow the laws of balance anymore. So the guardian said, okay, so you're going to mistreat your fellow brothers and sisters. All right, so y'all need an ass whooping. And I'm gonna release Lucifer on you. I'm gonna give him the portal to come off this desolate planet that we isolated him on for a few thousand years or longer. And he's looking for some payback. That's what Lucifer's Revenge is about. That's why you need to go order the book, lucifersrevenge.net. There's a whole playbook in there of information of how we're going to resurrect ourselves from the brink. But anyway, staying in tune with what I found out, the younger people are starting to wake up. They're looking for something different. We have been doing this you know, and from a sense of insanity, you know, we have been doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. And so it's time to change. We tried it the Martin Luther King way with Christianity. We tried it the Malcolm way with Islam. Some of us went off to Buddhism. These demons are still generating and maneuvering and manipulating us as a species. So now these demons they have taken on the form. They don't just come in Caucasian people. Caucasian people trying to wake up and understand. If you look at the Supreme Court, they come in all colors. So understand this. And once again, what we explain in our book, Lucifer's Revenge, is Lucifer in the beginning was a melanated being, and he lost his privilege. So when he lost his privilege, he got beat down. He was isolated, exiled to an isolated, desolate planet. And then civilization reached a point where it needed a butt whipping by his parents. And that's what we're going through right now. So anyway, we're going to reinforce that with a few things and a few ideals today. And hey, man, if you can cue up that first video of which one is that? Yeah. Now, so, okay, this video, that one did you just flip. This video explains what we have as a scenario of the kindergarten class running the PhD program. So you got these demons who operate on the kindergarten mentality, not that one, no. They operate on that one, yeah. They operate on the kindergarten mentality, and now they're appear to be running, they ain't running shit in reality, but they appear to be running our governments, our education system, our health systems, and all of that, and they think they're really in charge. But they're only being allowed to do that. And the guardians of the Most High will let them go within certain controls as long as we sit back and complicit with these idiots. You know, so we have to come to a realization. We have to understand, what they're capable of. Because when I say the kindergarten is running the PhD program, these demons think like the mind of a child. because they don't know, they can't remember that there are going to be repercussions. They're starving thousands of babies over in Israel. That's a demon. These are demons working in the Israeli government. And all you other Israelites, so-called Israelites, y'all need to check these demons, or you going down with them. I mean, literally just starving, telling people there's food right here. When the people show up, they hit them with tear gas and murdering them. That's demonic. And anybody that's complicit with that program is a demon, straightforward. And there are consequences. But once again, that collective is in position with all these organizations. And so about 7 or 8 years ago, one of the rifle associations, the NRA, the former president, he said it's just a matter of time before we own slaves again. And so go ahead and cue this video up. And this is a confirmation. We can't verify this source. We're not sure if it's the real deal. You know, with AI, you know, all things they can play games. But based on what the National Rifle Association former president said, just a matter of time, this video is a confirmation because I felt that it was real. Go ahead and play it up.
Okay, so I got the transcripts. Mitch, we have to bring slavery back. Those were the good old days. Kevin, how will we do that? There's no way we can do that. Mitch, black people won't do it, but white people will. Kevin, how will we get white people to be slaves? That sounds ridiculous. Mitch, we have to get rid of the separation of church and state. We must have state-funded religious schools. Kevin, I don't see where you're getting at. Mitch, those schools will have work programs for 4th through 8th graders. Kevin, I think I see where you're going here. How is that going to work? Mitch, we get the kids to pick all the produce as a part of their work program to teach them the values of good old-fashioned blue-collar labor and the bounty of God. Kevin, I don't think that anyone will go for that. Mitch, it's all about grooming. Start in the 1st grade, and by 4th grade, they'll be ready to do it. Kevin, but we already have people to pick the produce. Mitch, we have to finish the wall. Kevin, no way that's going to happen. Mitch, we find better ways to get the immigrants out of the United States. Kevin, like doubling ICE. Mitch, yes. Kevin, this will be too hard, and we'll be too busy trying to sustain this over long periods of time and generations. Mitch, no, we get rid of the abortion laws in the United States and we make it mandatory that all 8th grade females be impregnated in order to graduate. Kevin, oh, like replacing the crops. Ha ha ha, pun intended. Also, Kevin, I will work on getting the abortion banned. You work on state-funded religious schools. Mitch, we don't have to do either. Lindsay and I took care of that with the new SCOTUS.
Look at this sister's face. She is flabbergasted. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Okay. Hey, Chairman, you up first, man.
Hey, that was very cruel, you know, plotting like that. And we know it's not the first time, but it needs to wake up a lot of people's reality that are watching this show to recognize that this type of mentality is still going on, how people are trying to use people. And it's not going to work because, like Brother Andre was saying, you know, this new generation, they're not accepting the wooden nickels anymore. You know, they want to see a positive change. Slavery will not work. You know, it won't. You know, a lot of people sleeping, but they will be woken up for sure. Slavery will not exist again, not on this planet.
All right. So, all right, son, they're talking about your generation and the generations behind you. So how are you guys gonna deal with this?
I was listening very carefully. You heard what he said. Said the black people ain't gonna go for it. He damn right. He said we ain't gonna be able to get the black people to do it, and we try to kick out all of the quote unquote immigrants, aka Hispanic community, who are traditionally, well, let's say in the last 50, 60 years, I could be wrong, 50, 60 years, give or take, they've been the primary ones who's been working these farms.
Yes.
They're kicking them out. A lot of Caucasian farmers are now worried about who's going to mine these, which is funny to me. I was like, you talking about who gonna mine our farms? We ain't got no immigrant slave labor no more. Like, get your ass out there and do it. They don't want to, they're literally just considering dissolving their businesses, which to me really sounds like this. They're gonna do more than just dissolve those farming corporations, those small family farm corporations. More than likely, they're gonna take deals from the USDA and every other government department that facilitates agriculture in this country. That's probably what they're gonna do. The same way, and I ain't gonna dwell too long on this, but the same way Monsanto, ran by Hillary Clinton at the time, now owned by the pharmaceutical company Bayer. Bayer now owns Monsanto. At least that was the latest. I don't know. They're probably trying to do some DBAs and stuff now, try to hide their hand in it. But what Monsanto was doing, they were doing wicked stuff like this to everybody, not just black farmers, but primarily Caucasian farmers, because they know they were going to get it. They was going to negotiate their soul when they came to them with this deal. But Monsanto was buying land adjacent to farms, patenting the crops. First, they are patenting the crops that they were going to grow on the Monsanto farm. And then knowing that, I forget the terminology for this, when crops start to sprout, I think it's germination. I think that's what it is. When seeds blow in the wind and spread somewhere else, and then those crops start growing. That's how most of nature, that's how most flora sprouts. Seeds blow in the wind, and then that tree grows a mile down the street, right? So, but so they would buy these farms adjacent to a small family farm. Their crops will start growing, and with the seeds that were patented, they will blow over into the small family farm's field, start growing in their field, and then Monsanto will roll up on them and be like, hey, y'all violating the law because y'all got our seeds growing in y'all stuff. That's what they were doing. Wicked, right? And taking their farms. Now, for anybody who's got a warrior spirit to any extent, you could take that before Monty, right? To say, hey, no, y'all ain't finna hijack me like that. We finna take this up as far as it can go. Some families did. Some families say, no, you know what? This you making me a offer I can't refuse behind closed doors. I'll go along with your program. I'll let you take over my farm and the operations and grow these genetically modified seeds and plants to feed the American people with. I'll let you do it. As long as you cut me my check and don't bother my family. So anyway, I'll land it right there.
Okay. All right. So the point we're getting at here is, instead of these demons saying, we've had a good run with this illusion, we've done enough damage on this planet, it is corrupted to the core in the politics, in the religious programs, in the health programs, in the education programs. We've done, so what? So should we just pack up our bags and go somewhere and chill, because we know the Supreme Being, allowed us to come here and do this, but their mindset is we can keep doing it until the humans intervene. And that's what this show, the first segment of this show is about, how we're going to intervene. So a lot of the people from my generation, once again, go to our website, uaara.org, sign up, let people know, give us an email. You can become, until you get the confidence, you can become a Friends of the UAAR, just to let them know you're interested in becoming a friend. Just type that in or call the 800 number, leave a message, and the 813 number, I think it is. And so, get involved, because
real quick, let me give them some better instruction on that in particular.
Okay.
Go to uaarnation.org, go to the Contact Us tab. All right, it's an application form you can fill out that asks you, how exactly you want to get involved, allows you to leave a detailed message, and we'll receive it. All right.
All right, good deal. So, so they're not going to change. The demons, they know this. Well, we're just going to keep doing it until the humans say enough is enough. The Guardians, they have their cutoff point, but they want the humans to engage. I don't care whether you melanated, Caucasian. We did a show last week explaining to the Caucasians, you were sold a bum check with white supremacy. So you get access to privileges, but you don't really get access to control the bag. You're being manipulated. You're losing. Your farms are losing, and it's a con game. It's a straight con game to keep us fighting against each other while these little short demons manipulate and they enjoy our planet. So where we are right now, join up with this UAR. If you are a tribe, just let us know you're a tribe, you're interested in signing a treaty with us. If you're an organization like the Black Gun Club or anything that recognizing you want to do right by the Most High, we're entering into a memorandum of understanding, an MOU with you, and that builds the numbers, because by joining us, we're going to tap into the frequency. We have a newsletter that we're going to be setting up for those members that join us. And anybody that say, I'm interested, I want a newsletter, and we're gonna give you the instrument of adjusting the frequency to shut these demons down. We're not in this for fame and fortune, man. I'm telling you, we're in this for our children. We're in this for the future of our species on this planet. So that's where we are. So join us, get with us, let us know you're tired of this. The demons are not going to change. The Guardians are going to intervene when we as a collective demonstrate that we want to see those demons shut down. And so we started this a few weeks ago, and there have been tornadoes, there have been floods, there have been, and so now, first and foremost, to you melanated people, you need to get away, from the laws, from these entities that's generating this bad karma. So if you stay in their system, the flood's going to hit you too. The tornado is going to hit you too. So what we're doing with UAR is we are appealing for land. We're going to be building housing. Guess what? You won't have no mortgage payments. You won't have no light bills, no electric bills. Our collective is supporting this. We're taking the stress of this con game, because one of Lucifer's key soldiers was to create commerce and create industry to enslave you.
Won't have no property taxes either.
No property taxes. So that's what. So a lot of you grandmas and grandpas, some of you my age got great grandchildren, and they are feeding off your welfare check, your retirement, and you're not able to enjoy your retirement. So we're building a system to take the stress off of our culture with your children, to give them a fair and equitable opportunity at life. We know their souls. We know what they're good at. We're going to guide them and train them properly. So go to UAAR Nation, go to the contact, let us know you exist, and we're going to start the process of incorporating you into this movement, because it's either you stay in this system and keep having to support your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren and having to, because the children are out, the grandchildren are out hustling and trying to survive, and then the children, they don't have their act together, because that's my son's generation, and they're not feeling this kind game. So get involved. But here's where we're going to segue into the power, the high frequency of how we're going to shut these demons down. And it's simple, but a lot of us, we've been orientated to bad programming. And so we're going to get out of that programming. We're going to stop doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. We're getting ready. We're doing a new thing. We're tapping into the real frequency that's going to shut them down. If you tap into their frequency and their gods, it ain't going to shut them down. The God is going to say, nah, y'all just playing stupid all over again. So go ahead and set this video up, man. Let's get started on how we're going to tap into this frequency based on what the Haitians did when they ran them demons out. It worked. What did they do? We're going to talk about that.
Do y'all want to know why it was so important for them to force us to convert to Christianity? Not because they wanted to spread an enlightenment in the good word, but because they were very afraid of us. I'm pretty sure y'all heard of the Haitian Revolution. Oh, you know where black people fought against the French and won? They were so nervous, they even made laws.
1685, a law in Haiti prohibited the practice of African religions and forced slave owners to actually push their slaves to adapt the Christian faith within 8 days.
Now, I really want to just ask this question. Y'all got knives, bayonets, swords, pistols, muskets, rifles, cannons, bombs. So here's the big question. How did enslaved people with no upgraded weapons fight and beat against these people? Well, this is Cecile Fatima, and she was a Haitian voodoo priestess. And she did a voodoo ceremony to summon the strength to win against these colonizers. A week later, 18,000 plantations were destroyed, and 1,000 slaveholders got what they deserved. Now I can see why these colonizers want to demonize their practices. I mean, imagine seeing people like this doing these ceremonies, converting their energy to fight against you. Very strongly put in the Bible. Slaves, be obedient to your human master with fear and tremble in the sincerity of heart as to Christ. There were instances of colonizers' teeth falling out through battle. Stomach pains, headaches, issues within the colonizer soldiers. I mean, look at this. The Chief Justice President Judge lost his voice and had to adjourn court. Then the President of Legislative Council died. When court was resumed, the judge again lost his voice, and he had difficulty speaking. The jury believed to have supernatural interventions. They do not like the personal, spiritual, and ancestral power that we were using to protect us. Voodoo means spirit. They had to erase our spirit, our strength, in order for us to be docile. Because what was done in Haiti shook the foundation of owning slaves. But y'all stay dangerous.
No one's disregarding the natives. They just came from Siberia.
You know what, this character right here is pretty interesting too, but we'll save it for next week or so. Anyway.
Okay, Chairman. So the Haitians tapped into some energy and we start shutting the people down. They did it as a collective, and so something broke down. But they got them out of Dodge. They got them off their land, and so the demons continue to attack. So what's your take on that energy field that they tapped in, Chairman?
Well, you said it. They were unified. They joined together. They didn't buy the the banana in the tailpipe. They knew that they had to stick together because the Haitians had the majority of the people. So, majority ruled. And that's what's got to happen in the United States. The majority of the people got to come together to put down some of these laws that they're trying to force us with, a way of trying to put a sophisticated slavery system on us. But it's not going to work because this young generation, like I said, they're smart. They're waking up. They're not going to go for it. Strength is in numbers.
Well, we got the young generation right here. Hey, man, Junior, what do you think? Did they tap into light energy or dark energy? Did they tap into an energy field of darkness to defeat darkness? What do you think went down?
It wasn't darkness against darkness. It was It was a matter of protection and self-preservation, is a spirit that you tapped into. And that is allowable by universal law and natural law. It's like every organism on this planet is equipped with some kind of defense mechanism against some predator. And it's interesting when you think about that. You know, life is feeding on other life, but life is also defensive against life that's trying to feed on it. And it really boils down to the survival of the fittest at the end of the day.
Yes.
So now, but going deeper on it, Haiti using let's say indigenous spiritual practices. You remember last week or the week before last, we were talking about how indigenous spiritual systems realign you with your reflection in nature. And when I say your or our, talking about original melanated beings, reflection and harmony with nature. That's the foundation of any indigenous spirituality system, any one of them, right? Because we know we're a part of the body, we're a part of the whole, we're a part of this planet. Like we're not separate from the planet, we're a part of the body of the planet. And we know the body of the planet is a part of the body of the universe, right? We know we ain't separate from it. We look at it like this. If we need to be white blood cells to kick a virus's ass out the body, then we become that. That's the energy that they were harnessing at the time. So now going even deeper on it, like, you know, because like I said, I'll be listening. They said some of the colonizers were dying, showing up to court, can't speak. In other words, what it seemed like what was happening was magic. I mean, you know, magic is only indistinguishable from quote unquote technology that you just don't understand, right? So what was really going on, or at least this is I'm gonna give you my opinion on what was really going on. Like Chairman said, those people came together. The Haitian folks came together at that time. They got their priest, their Voudon, let's just say Yoruba priest, to host and facilitate a energy amplification. In other words, as soon as that young sister on the video said that, she pointed to a video to where the Haitians were in the middle of the forest, dancing, chanting, invoking their own spiritual energy. And you know, that's not about seeking some demonic force. It ain't got nothing to do with that. But it's like this. You know, I'll say this as an analogy. As let's say, as a parent, I don't really have any children yet, but I'm sure you two can vouch for this. You would become a demon to anybody who's trying to harm your child. You would be a demon in a heartbeat. And that goes for every organism out here. Let you go mess with some cub of it can be a bird. Let you mess with their eggs. The birds are turning to some demons on you, right?
And go on the attack.
But what was that really? You know, when we really break it down, again, self-preservation and protection. They know, like, no, you trying to harm my progeny. In other words, my ability to exist and move forward in existence. No, I can't have that. I got to tell you, I'm a demon right now. Right now, I'm a demon on you. So that's what the the Haitian population evoked at that time. I'm gonna land it right there because I know we got some more to get on to.
All right, so two things. They said they did it in 8 days. For you to force your made-up religion on the people in 8 days, that is not a natural process. That was forced. So that means that all the religious institutions that were set up in these melanated colonies was forced on them, and if anybody objected, they came up with a strategy to kill off any leaders. So that, you know, to force, and then they paid off some melanated people, saying, look, if you enforce this fake religion on them, we'll give you some crumbs over people that we know you don't like, certain clubs, fraternities and sororities, you don't like them, so we're gonna give you an edge over your fraternity, you know. And so it was a well-planned strategy. But if it was done in a short time, it's not natural, because consciousness developed over a period of time through dialogue, research, verification, and those sort of things. So once again, the narrative is the religions, and here's what the Guardians did, and I know how they operate, because they work in decades and centuries ahead of the game. They know what's going to happen. So what they did for Haiti is that they said, whatever, as long as they come together to fight these demons, we're going to give them power, because we're going to demonstrate this at a later date. So they did it in Haiti, but it wasn't done all over the planet, because the demons, their agenda came out of the Catholic Church. So they sent these missionaries all over the planet. So now we're back on the stage where this needs to be done on the entire planet to shut these demons down. And all we have to do is demonstrate we're going to come together and operate on a certain frequency. And it's not demonic. They made any practice demonic intentionally, and install, so they can install their BS and force it on the melanated, the original humans on the planet. So when you join up with UAR, there are different levels of how we're going to tap into that frequency. Everybody's not ready for it, and most of the star seeds are ready. So once again, you star seed people, you need to get with us, because there is a protocol on how we prepare ourselves to tap into the energy, to destroy the demons, to get all of the technology to return us, our planet, back into balance after it's been decimated with these chemicals, the plastics, this commerce of repetitive commerce that's damaging the planet. We're going to get to natural things, and we're going to understand how to massage our Mother Earth through the natural orders. But if you continue holding on to the demonic economic system, all you're doing is keep feeding Lucifer, Satan, Diablo, Darth Vader. You know, you got to recognize we've been doing the same thing for too long and getting the same results. And look where we are. So we're doing something different now. We have a different program. There is a spiritual protocol that we're going to tap into, and it's already working. But the more people come in and say, all right, I'm going to give that other stuff, what we did, what Malcolm did, which was good, what Martin did, which was good, but that was then. Now it requires a different plan. and you don't have to be embarrassed about it. I'm learning something new every day. I'm not embarrassed. I just receive it, say it's some refreshing knowledge. It's going to help me understand better and better how I'm going to get with the Most High, how I'm going to become one with the Most High. So we're going to tap into that energy field. Once again, you star seeds, we need you right now, because we need to demonstrate by example. You already know the playbook. You can go get our book, Lucifer's Revenge, and read up on the playbook to become more proficient. But you know the playbook. You know why you're here. You've been like this all your life as a child. You've been a benevolent soul. You've been wanting to help, nurture, do right by people. You are a star seed. So you're the ones that we need to come in right now, because all the naysayers, a lot of them, once again, they're going to learn through demonstration. And the star seeds, you got to demonstrate right now. We need you. We need you. And we're coming together now. This train is about to leave the port. You know, now you can get on now or wait down the road. But if you're going to wait down the road, at least go to our website and become a friend of UAR, because we're working on a plan to get your children out of this matrix and get them out of your pockets so you can enjoy your retirement. All right. All right. So we're gonna segue. So there was two things. Yeah, I think I got. So the worldwide. This is a worldwide requirement. There's star seeds all over the planet. So we don't. So Haiti demonstrated, just like Sodom and Gomorrah was a demonstration, whether it was a real name or not. I believe that scenario happened. It still is happening. It's like if you get a bunch of roaches in your house, you're going to exterminate everything in there to get them out of there. That's what Sodom and Gomorrah was about. So Haiti was a demonstration that if you come together on one accord, on a higher frequency, these demons are done. They are done. All right. Let us segue into the second part of the show today, because what my son came up with, I thought this was interesting. And, he and I be vibrating on the same frequency. It's amazing sometimes. So he will discuss the necessity of creating a new organic reality matrix for Aboriginals, melanated people, and possibly mankind. He's going to explain to you who mankind is.
Put the emphasis on the mankind.
Yeah, well, my thing about mankind is that, you can start out as man, but when you get to the level of mankind, that means you got some generational curses you need to correct. Yeah. So, but anyway, hey man, tell us what we're gonna do after we get rid of the demons.
Well, I thought you was gonna speak specifically on the CE5 protocol. And well, I got you. We don't get because I'll be talking and time be flying. I swear it be. So anyway, but what you were just talking about was that's what that was. You just ain't say it out loud. I'm gonna say it for you right now. When we're talking about when we come together collectively, internationally, globally, under a common righteous spiritual agenda, and with the intention of communicating with the most high vibratory entities and the most high vibratory information in the all of the universe, that's what CE5 is. Now, we already explained to y'all what the term CE5 means and possibly who coined the phrase. Don't matter who came up with the term, well, at least a new term for it. Technically, what the Haitians did against the French, that was a CE5. Technically,
you read in my mind.
It's like the concept is old. The terms are new. Okay, so now here's the thing. That was let's say a relatively short span of spectrum or incident or series of incidents over a certain a window of time of CE5 practice. But now here's the thing, and we wrote about this extensively in the book Lucifer's Revenge. We wrote about it extensively, but even once we diagnose, start the healing process and the removal of this virus from our body, analogically, our individual bodies, collective societal body, and the actual planet body itself. Once we start removing this virus of ignorant and demonic humans, that's the only thing that's causing the virus right now. Let's be frank and not sugarcoat it. Is some certain types of humans that are the virus themselves. And y'all bear with me because I had a little bit of a head cold over the last few days. So if y'all hear me, my voice waning, just ask me to repeat it if it ain't come out straight. All right, so yeah, we're going to perform CE5s with the international collective. All right, and mind you, we ain't trying to summon no demons. That ain't how this go. or we already broke down to you, if these parasites, you heard what they said on the video with the system, right? Even though we can't verify if that, if that was the real NRA or not. Point is, you can imagine they're having conversations like that behind closed doors based on the type of stuff that we see happening in politics right now. Yeah, they're having them type of conversations, even if that one wasn't real. They're having them type of conversations. You hear what they said? They said, mind you, they talking about their own children. They said they want to have all their 8th grade girls get pregnant before they graduate for the sake of converting them into farm slave labor. That's their plan for their own children. What kind of plan you think they got for yours? Right? So now, again, a global, a collective, righteous, spiritual invocation and invitation of information and high vibratory beings out there. That's what the CE5 is. Now, when we start doing that, because we are already putting in, and we're already putting together the plans on hosting those type of events, ceremonies, I should say, right? That's what they really be, a ceremony, not a ritual necessarily, or the demonic connotation of ritual, right? Now we're doing a ceremony. Now, but even after we do that, or in tandem with us doing that, we got to go a little bit deeper. Now, y'all heard me talk about this often. As a cosmologer, aka what is a cosmologer? I know that term ain't too popular either. Cosmologer is an astrologer and an astronomer combined. In other words, we not only do we practice the divination process, which is astrology, but also we're actual scientific observers of celestial nature and movement, which is astronomy. Right? In other words, you getting in an observatory, you're using a telescope, that's astronomy. Right? Me interpreting the frequencies and wavelengths and energies that these celestial bodies emit, interpreting them in terms of divination, that is astrology. We got Mama Kelly who just came on the line. I had to let her in. I was like, oh no, I'm letting her in. Mama Kelly, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah. Everybody okay?
We're good.
Oh, yes.
Okay, you've been on my mind for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So
Oh, really?
I'm so glad you're on. Yes, indeed.
Uh-huh. So what's going on?
Well, I'm right in the middle of doing my part of the show, because you know we live, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
Okay. Right on my right in the middle of my part of discussing my topic that we put up there. So you know, you're more than welcome. I saw your name, I had to let you in. And so let me spit these bars, and then we're gonna open up everything for discussion. Okay. So as a cosmologist, what I'm very aware of is, well, let me say, me in particular as a cosmologist. See, I've been studying this for 25 years. And I say very humbly, it's like, I don't even like to use the term master astrologer, although that's what I am. I like to use the term heavily seasoned cosmologer.
Mm-hmm.
I am a very heavily seasoned cosmologer, and I study it the same way I study everything else. I don't study it with a confirmation bias. I don't look for information just to confirm my own opinions on whatever the scientific subject is. I want to know how it worked for real. I want to know how everything worked for real.
Mm-hmm.
My dad will tell you, he bought me, a horse, like a little horse ride, back when I was like 5 years old. I didn't know how the thing worked, so I dismantled the whole thing. How long it take you to put it together?
You was less than 2 years old.
I was less than 2.
Yeah.
I took the whole thing apart just so I could see, because I was like, listen, I mean, I can imagine what I was thinking at 8 months. Good Lord. But I can imagine, I was like, listen, this thing, I see it working, but I don't know how it's working. I need to see how it works. So I took the whole thing apart, he said.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I did that same process with astrology, and I'm using, and I want y'all to follow me in this because astrology is a very descriptive term. So I use that same approach to studying astrology over the years. And so I was always digging into, okay, why is this, how was this information, the basic components of astrology, who came up with this was my, I was trying to figure out how is this working, right? And so, I ended up finding the answers eventually. And I'm not gonna lie, I'll study and practice, not just study, but I also practice, was performing natal chart readings on people for 20 years until I realized, wait a minute. There was a very particular set of entities that curated the current astrology system that we utilize. And not to go too deep in that direction, but again, we wrote about it, and in the book Lucifer's Revenge. But let me say this: there is an astrology Bible. In other words, the first amalgamation and acceptance of what was going to be the astrology system by a particular person, and, for lack of a better word, quasi-priesthood. Long story short, to be real specific on it, a group of Caucasians that learned occult systems from ancient African priesthoods and quote unquote mystery schools. That's where they learned that's where they learned astrology from. But the same way that they that those African priesthoods told them, hey, listen, when you are creating a god, we're gonna show you the science of creating what we will call a neteru. We're gonna show you the process of it, but you can't make your neteru look like us, because you're just gonna come down here and be worshiping us. The same way they taught them that process is the same way they taught them cosmology or astrology. So what they did was come up with their own system, and that is what we call Western astrology today. So let me go through that one more time. Western astrology, as we know it, is a amalgamation of information gathered by European priesthood students, and organized into a fashion to where it's designed to let's say, condition the mind into perceiving a certain type of reality. And let me tell you what I mean by that. And this is going to relate to the CE5 thing. So, what I discovered with this astrology thing is you've got astrology systems that are based on what we call apparent motion. In other words, what celestial bodies appear to be doing. What they appear is literally the scientific term for it, apparent motion. But anytime you hear the word retrograde, that's apparent motion, because ain't no planets moving backwards in the sky. It just appears to be doing that. But in most astrological systems, they calculate that like that's an actual thing that's happening. Like, so Mercury is going retrograde, because y'all love that one. Mercury's in retrograde. In other words, it's moving backwards, so we finna get a bunch of backwards communication. When that's not what's happening. Now, just briefly, let me break it down. This is how I'll break stuff down. Like, no, it's not moving backwards in the sky. Just like a racetrack or a track and field track, you've got different lanes of orbits of celestial bodies, aka planets. And Mercury, since it has the closest inner lane, that means it's got the shortest distance and it's got a smaller mass. So in other words, it's going to be lapping us around the track every time. So every time it begins to lap us, of course, it's going to come up behind us, it's going to get close to us, and then it's going to pass us. That is what they're calling the retrograde. But what I just described to you was the actual motion. That's what's actually happening. Now, does that mean the planet is moving backwards in the sky? No. It's not moving backwards in the sky. That's what it appears to be doing. That's what it has the illusion of doing. And illusions is something that's one of the primary tools of warfare, illusions. All right. So I built a whole new astrology system once I started figuring out these people got this whole thing built up on a fake celestial matrix. I got this whole thing. Now, why does that matter to us? Because astrology and astronomy are the basis of how you keep time. That's all astrology really is. In astronomy, it is really elaborate timekeeping. Very elaborate timekeeping because listen, it's like this. The first clocks were sundials, right? You need a reference point in the sky to be able to tell time. Right? If we were in a void of space and wasn't nothing moving around us, we would not be able to tell time because we would have no reference point to compare and contrast where we at. Right? If we weren't spinning, if this planet wasn't rotating on its own axis, we wouldn't be able to tell time. Right? Now, a lot of my astrology students love my astrology, my former astrology students. A lot of them used to come to me and ask me, they say, Trey, is time real? I'd be like, yeah, time is what you make it. Time is what you make it. In other words, time and cycles are what you make it. Yeah, you can take a circle and divide it up however you want to. And that's essentially what a clock is. It's a cycle broken up into pieces and measured. And you can measure it however you so choose. But so with that being said, you got to ask yourself, who's taking cycles that we all are adhering to and breaking them up into fractions based on their intentions? And what does that mean? So let's get into that. So every day we wake up and we subconsciously participate. I said that fine. Every day we wake up and subconsciously, because we've been conditioned and taught to do it from childhood. But we went to school and got conditioned on to do this from childhood. Every day we wake up and we say, all right, today's frequency, today's cycle is attributed to a European deity. Every day. Monday, that's Moon Day. But Tuesday, I forget what Roman god that's based on, but it's based on a Roman god. Every day. The month, we also got a Roman or Greek deity that we associate that with. Why? Why? Because we've been conditioned to do so. That's why. We've been conditioned to do so. Even when we go to a larger scale, when we talk about the year, like we start our year in the most arbitrary point in the whole cycle of the planet orbiting around the sun. Even as a cosmologist who knows how to break down cosmological sequences and the reason why they may do something like that, I still can't figure out why they put January 1st in the middle of, let's just say this, the beginning of the year and in the middle of the winter. I still can't figure out why they did that.
Elevation of Saturn.
Of Saturn.
Or Satan.
So, interesting thing about Saturn is, because they did believe for a long time. When I say they, I'm talking about Romans and their predecessors, Greeks. Saturn was again one of their most feared deities. Again, they had a fear of the nature of Saturn. Strong fear, interestingly enough.
The Roman Church actually elevated Saturn because they're satanic people. What we don't get is that their religion is a satanic religion. And that's the reason why they began the calendar right there at the lowest point of the sun in the northern hemisphere. Satan or Set, if you want to go all the way back to Osiris and Set. You see, so Set and Saturn are one and the same. What do they call it? The lion. What's that Disney movie? The Lion King. Yeah, but that's going all the way back to the ancient Egyptian. You see, and I see where you're going as far as the Roman church and the elevation of Roman deities. We have to remember that they didn't know anything, and their so-called priests went over to Egypt to learn.
Absolutely.
Because they didn't know anything from anything. And so they changed all of the deities, to Roman names. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way we have all learned it. You see, and some have gone backwards not backwards, going forward to claim what we know belongs to us, which is the ancient religion or the ancient belief system of our ancestors. And don't forget that America is Egypt. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
America is Egypt. And there's so many things that support that. If you take away, that Eurocentric view of everything, you see, that's what we've been indoctrinated into, that Eurocentric view of everything. And I think this is one of our biggest problems, is letting go of it.
Yes.
And that's the reason why, unity, we haven't found unity yet, is because of the different Eurocentric belief systems. Not only that, but, many people don't know or don't accept the fact that the Roman Church is over Islam.
Yes.
Christianity, Islam, all the
Abrahamic religions.
religions. The Roman Church is, and people will probably cut your throat if you try to tell them that their Baptist church was under the Roman Empire, but it is, So it's all about control, as you said.
Indeed.
So Mama Kelly, what is your message to the listeners based on the time frame we're in right now, what you're seeing? What is your message to the Aboriginal people, and that in terms of bringing this collective order into manifestation?
We have to get on the same page internationally. And this is one of the problems that we are having, because there is so much interference. We have to join the indigenous nations of the world together.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And there are those who have been in power for the last 400 or 500 years, namely the Catholic Church, because they are the ones who are at the top. The Catholic Church, people don't know that for a fact. And then the City of London, and then, of course, the military arm, which is Washington, D.C. But Washington, D.C. is defunct. So this is the time for us as Aboriginal people of this land to join forces with the Aboriginal people around the world. And most of the Aboriginal people are heavily melanated around the world, you know, and that is happening. It is happening, but it at this point, it has to be kind of under the radar because we do understand that, you know, anytime the indigenous people of the United States start pulling their energies and their resources together, then it frightens the you know, colonizers, who still believe that after the corporation is dismantled, that they can actually come in here and still rule over us. Well, they can if we're stupid enough to
Let it happen.
allow them to do that. And we have to stand up as one people around the world. We can't just stand up ourselves. We have to organize here on this planet, in this land, first, so that the rest of the world will recognize us. They can't recognize us as we are now. We got about 15, 20, 30 different organizations that claim to represent us. We have to be under one umbrella,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
And so it means, you know, this ego gotta go.
Absolutely.
This ego gotta go because it's for sure going to take us into a pit, of no return. You know, this ego, and I must say it's mostly male ego, you know, that we're out here dealing with, and true families are led by women. Women have the power. If you look at matriarchal societies, which we don't see a whole lot of them anymore because, you know, the men have pretty much taken over since the dawning of the age of Pisces, you know, actually goes back further. And the men have taken over, and the women who actually take care of the family, the first unit, you know, the women have been disbarred, you know, except for some matriarchal society. Now, I know that some in the West Africa are still matriarchal, even though their corporate governments don't recognize it, but their traditions are still there. They have the king, you know, and they have the queen mother. And the queen mother, if you look at the chessboard, who has the power on the chessboard?
The queen is all.
Okay, then she's the only one who can do anything she wants to do.
We here at UAAR, we understand the power of that feminine energy. So, Mama Kelly, so there's a tsunami of young people that are reaching for the history of the Aboriginals. They're coming to understanding that we didn't come over here from the boats from Africa. We built pyramids here. All of these ancient structures were built by the Aboriginals. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, this is absolutely true. I'd love to begin to bring the young people in. I've done a few videos, a series of videos. Who's Your Daddy? Which points to, you know, the fact that we are the oldest bloodline on this planet. They have been throwing us over there to Africa as the motherland. But when you look at geology, you know, we find that the first land to submerge from the waters was North America, Turtle Island. Wow. And we have the oldest monuments, pyramids and so forth right here in the Americas. And, those who rewrote history at the Reconstruction, we have to understand that Reconstruction was about rewriting history. It wasn't about freeing any kind of so-called slaves. We weren't slaves, we were prisoners of war, and we're still fighting, as prisoners of war. But most of us, our minds have been captivated by that Roman overlay, the Roman overlay over the original, even the original Constitution of the United States.
Mhm.
It's an overlay, but that it hasn't erased who we are or who we were as the original people. Look, I mean, what is the Declaration of? I mean, not the Declaration. Yeah, the Constitution. What is it based on? It's based on the great law of the Iroquois Confederation. That's how they got the Constitution in the first place. You have to realize that the Europeans, basically, who came over here, were not very smart. They didn't know how to write or even organize a free and sovereign nation, and as a republic, because they came out of monarchies. They didn't know what a republic was. They came out of monarchies. You see, that's still all they know.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our opportunity to actually wake up and stand up and claim what is ours.
Absolutely.
And it has to be the feminine energy to do that. Now, we need the support of the men, of course.
Yes.
Men have to, or they're supposed to, provide and protect.
There we go.
And the men have to step up and do that, and let the women. I ain't talking about all women, because not all women have the, how can I say it, the wherewithal, the skills to actually lead, because we have been so engrossed in this false matrix. Okay, and I see so many of our women just declaring their devotion to uh, so-called Jesus Christ, not understanding that power of the Christ consciousness is within them, and they shouldn't be running behind a it's a false reality. That's what it is. When you do not read and you just go listen to the preacher who's telling you 3-4 times you got to put more money into this plate because we got this other thing that we got to deal with. But nevertheless, I admire what Andre Jr. Just talked about as far as astrology. Astrology is the golden key, and the tarot is the silver key for knowledge. And for us to actually know this, we have to study, and we have to know that what has been presented to us for us to learn is an overlay of what the real thing is about. Okay, so thank you for giving me a chance to say something.
Mama Kelly, so I'm going to attest to our listening audience. You are a well-studied scholar in our history of our Aboriginal culture here in the Americas. And I don't, you are well into the 70s, and I'm saying this because you represent the mature feminine energy that these younger sisters need to pay attention to, that you're sincere. You're not trying to run a game on them to raise money. We're in this, we're starseeds. We're in this for the salvation of our species, but we got to fix our melanated people. And I'm so glad you chimed in this morning, Mama Kelly. Hopefully some of these women will listen to you. We are building an army of men that understand our role. We are to protect and build for you. We know that you are the key energy source. You give life. You got all your chromosomes. So we're here to protect and defend you. And part of it being the chairman and my son, we're preparing our men to do just that. Mama Kelly, is there any information? Of course, they can if they want to contact us to get to you through uarnation.org. Is there any information or literature you want to share with them that they can buy, purchase, or read up on?
Well, I do have a couple of publications. Are you aware?
Well, yes, you told me about them, but I want you to talk about them on the show so that these young people, the younger generation and our generations can start to study and apply themselves to understanding how we're going to turn this thing over.
Okay. Well, actually, the one that was released about 3 years ago, Global Transformation, it might be more than about 4 years now. Global Transformations, the Rise of Feminine Power and the Ascension of the Ethiopian King. Now, the Ethiopian King is a constellation. You see, it's not a person, it's not a woo-woo in the sky, it's not a fallen angel, nothing like that. It's a constellation. And as the constellation of the little bear, which the bright star is Polaris, as we see a pole shift, then the new star to rise to be the North Star will be the constellation of Cephas. I got this from I call it hip hop hieroglyphs, which is the cosmic prophecies of San Francisco. It was cosmic visitations that laid out the whole plan. I actually made a series of videos, short videos, because I know our people don't want to take a whole lot of time. I'll send you the link. It's called Who's Your Daddy? Cosmic Prophecies, Who's Your Daddy? And it's on the Cosmic Prophecies YouTube site. And it's 7 actually short videos that give the whole history, and going all the way through the visitation of the Anunnaki and how they were involved in creating the Lulu, which of course is, those who are still believe they're in power, but they're not. But and we have to move forward to make sure that they don't take over the matrix and create another one for us to fall into. Absolutely. But those are those who used the power that used to be. And so there are 7 videos. A Cosmic Prophecies channel on YouTube, and who's your daddy? It exposes the fact that even the oldest Y chromosome on this planet was found in an Aboriginal man here in in America,
Absolutely.
in South Carolina.
Wow.
But they have refused to say if indeed all of our men here have that same Y chromosome. Why? They ain't gonna let you know that.
Is that Albert Perry, Mama Kelly?
Yeah, that's it. So that's who your daddy is. That's
Well,
as old a Y chromosome as we have found. And it is not in Africa. Although they often try to direct you in that way, give you um that belief that actually even that chromosome came from Africa, but it's not true.
right here in the Americas.
Right here in America.
So, Mama Kelly, we just to the listening audience, Mama Kelly is an advisor to our Council of Elders, and of course, she can take a seat anytime she wants. So, you get by getting involved with UAR, you're getting involved with all this wisdom. Whatever organizations, we're going to ask Mama Kelly to let us post it on our website so you can read up on this information, or you can go to the website, tap on the contact information, and let us know you want to dialogue with Mama Kelly, and we'll forward the messages on to her. So, but we're definitely glad, and definitely we want you to come back more, because we everything that you were explaining, we're vibrating this frequency so that our people wake up and stop praying to Lucifer's frequency, and let's give power to the frequencies of the Most High so things can get done. So we're going to go ahead and thank you, Mama Kelly, for your knowledge and your inspiration. And
thank you. I appreciate you allowing me to speak.
Oh no, it was our pleasure and honor.
Absolutely. So next week we're going to continue on with the rebuilding project, and hopefully Mama Kelly can give us some insight on that if she's available next week. Go ahead, Junior, close us out.
No, we ain't closing out. We got to go a little further.
All right.
I had a little bit more to say, so let's go.
We'll go right ahead.
So, but again, I appreciate you, Mama Kelly, for coming in and riding that wave with me and confirming. And so we're gonna pick back up at this point, because I still got to drive home the fact that we have to create or recreate and even update our ancient cosmology systems, which are essentially our presentation of reality, because we're working on the projection of somebody else's reality, and to be very specific, Roman Catholic reality. All right. Again, every day we wake up, we're subscribing to frequencies, literally, that they've created. When we were the masters of creating frequencies, we were the masters of that. As a matter of fact, we had civilizations that ran 2 or 3 calendars simultaneously. Had a moon calendar, a sun calendar, and different calendars for different reasons. And so when I say calendars, we look at that, as like a grid of dates and months and years in a linear fashion, when the reality is we should be looking at them in a cyclical fashion. And this is why we call them frequencies. Because again, frequency is just how frequent a cycle begins and ends. That's what frequency really is. All right. How frequent a wavelength, which is a circle, begins and ends. So here's something deep I want to get into. Now, I'm going to get into this because I just want to show you how powerful and how important them curating a frequency of reality for you is, and who they've been using, or the type of people that they've been using to do it for some time. Would y'all believe me if I told y'all there is a corporation or organization called Lucis Trust
Mm-hmm.
that was originally named Lucifer Trust.
Mm-hmm.
And this same organization, now called Lucis Trust, has consultative status with the United Nations.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, they be hosting quote unquote spiritual ceremonies at the UN building in New York.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, a little bit more about this Lucis Trust Company, or this Lucifer Trust Company. Now, I'm gonna say this, right off the bat, just being objective. You know, but if you look at the company up, you go on the surface, you're gonna see, they're all about love and light and whatnot. All right. But and that's what they about, fine. Because my point is, I've never attended a Lucis Trust astrology meeting or a ceremony that they hold, because they do that. They listen. If you just look up Lucis Trust, you can Google it. Y'all can Google it. Lucis, Lucis Trust. And then go on their page and look up under the tab called Full Moon, and it'll show you all of the astrology meetings that they have.
Wow.
All of them. Now, here's a more interesting part about it. The company, originally called Lucifer Trust, was founded by a lady named Alice Ann Bailey. I think that's her name.
I think I remember that.
I think that's her name. Let me make sure. Yeah,
Alice Baker.
No, Alice Ann Bailey.
Okay. Of course. I think that the name is CC. Alice Bailey is a man, and I think the CC Zane is what he publishes under. If I get it right, and that's the Theosophical Society.
Well, this
I may be wrong now, but the Alice Bailey is a man.
Okay, well now this Alice Bailey, if you just research her, if you look up, she's a British occultist.
Yeah.
She's a British occultist and moved here to the States in the early 1900s. And she allegedly had a master, who I think was Hindu or something like that. His name was something, Dejwal Cool.
Yeah, what's his name again?
It looked like it's hard to pronounce. It's DJWAL. That's his first name. And
Dewall.
That's how you. Thank you. I was slaughtering his name. Last name Cool, Khul. And listen, that's a whole nother topic of discussion right there going on. But anybody, y'all can go research that. It ain't hard to find. But she claims that was her spiritual teacher, a master, and he had been communicating with her telepathically on all the occult information that she knows. And prompted her to create the company Lucifer Trust, which now has consultative status with the United Nations. And this old, I'll be willing to bet some money. Everybody, every personnel in the company Lucifer Trust is an occultist. We can't. Assume.
Well, this is how they have ruled, through the use of occult measures, and so-called black magic, to put us under certain spells, and That is how they have maintained that power over us. It's through these occult traditions that they learned.
From us.
Yes, yeah. So this is how they have actually maintained their power.
Mhm.
But their time, they were given a certain time, and their time is up now.
Yeah.
Now, this Lucis Trust, I have heard about it. And of course, they maintained that power because they told us that we should be afraid of it because it was devil. Now, they the ones that's doing the devil work, yet they project it on us.
Exactly.
And our being afraid that we're not going to quote go to heaven. Well, we're in hell right now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
subscribe.
Tell me we ain't in hell.
Subscribing to their frequencies as hell.
This is hell.
All right.
And so actually, so what you're talking about coming back here again? No, we got to overcome that.
Yeah, we gotta. So this is my point. So just using this example with Lucis Trust in the United Nations, basically, they've got the entire world in one way or the other having to subscribe to their frequencies, which is the Gregorian calendar, like you said, Mama Kelly, which initiates their cycles on a date that is designed to revere Satan, which is a misrepresentation of Set, because they don't even understand Set very well. Because we didn't fear Set like that. We understood Set was a force of nature and a principle of cosmic nature who was utilized for particular reasons. We weren't afraid of him. It was just we knew why, we knew what and how he operated. Them, on the other hand, like we said before, they ain't know nothing. They didn't know how we utilize and resonate with Netarus. They matter of fact, they can't even use Netarus because they always had an adverse relationship with nature in the first place.
Right, exactly.
So with that being said, but they still have us subscribing every day subconsciously to their misunderstanding of our own spiritual systems, aka what they call occult science, right? And so on one end, they got us subscribing to the Gregorian calendar, which is completely Romanized. And now on the back end, though, they at the UN using occult astrology to do their bid.
Right. Yeah. Oh, they are super occultists, and they do use the dark side of nature in order to do it. I mean, when you talk about black magic and white magic, there's no such thing. We're talking about a dark side and a light side. And basically, they have maintained their power to using the darker forces of nature. What they call that dark moon, Lilith. And so, for us to overcome that, I think that what we're going to have to do is just leave those false religions behind. But so many of our people, that's the only thing they know or accept because of the indoctrination. And I truly don't know how we're going to. I think it's just going to be a few of us who will make that difference, who are aware of what the problem is and who are ready to transition out of that mindset and come into our Christ consciousness. See, thinking that Christ is somebody who is outside of us is the wrong direction to be looking at.
Ain't gonna happen.
That Christ is within.
Yes.
And until we get that, We will be spinning our wheels and will be vulnerable to being pulled into that next phase of this next matrix that they are spinning right now. Oh, they got a real heavy duty plan for Negroes in America. Have y'all heard about it? Or I know that we're past time, so I'm not going to talk about it.
Well, no, it's all good. I tell you what, Mama Cat, we want to discuss it.
Building up on the next show.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, listen, now this is just a special episode. It's gonna go 2 hours this time. All right, y'all getting a special feature today. And if I may, elders, as a young man that has been raised practically all my life under the tutelage of what we call conscious elders. I've been fortunate to experience that, and also with my own natural warrior spirit in mind. This is what I propose. So getting back to the CE5 and also the Christ consciousness, because it's all relative and one and the same. Because in other words, when we say we're gonna do a CE5, that's the type of energy we looking to communicate with. Christ conscious energy. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
So now, when I say we need to create our own organic matrix, synonymous to what we've had in the past, in the ancient past, when our older ancestors, they were, we tend to think that, because we've been so indoctrinated, we tend to think that our ancestors in the past were not as smart as us. When the reality is they were living in a time, especially during the Taurus age, and Copper Yuga, and before that the Gemini age, and Copper and Silver Yuga. They were on a totally different frequency, which we are ascending back into now. We're ascending back into that type of frequency now, but they were operating on a higher frequency back in. This is why they were able to build those megalithic structures that we can't explain through modern scientific means today, right? We still can't. We're using modern scientific methods of observation. We cannot figure out why these megalithic structures were built and what they were used for, other than some Europeanized mundane explanation.
But you do know that they were all of them were lined up with the star Sirius, and then the Orion, the constellation of Sirius, the constellation of Orion, and the Pleiades.
Absolutely.
Yes, and that's our part of the galaxy that we actually come from. In fact, my belief, and this is only me now, my belief is that our sun is actually that unseen star that's a part of the constellation of Sirius. There are 3 suns there. And I believe that one of those suns is ours.
I understand.
According to the way that the ancients talk about it. And I'm talking about some of the ancient shaman who stayed long enough to give us the information that they had, like our brother down there in Credo Mutwa of the Zulu, and actually the Dogon, and as well as some of the Hopi elders.
Mhm.
And so they lived long enough to point to this and show us that the hey, we had this knowledge long time ago, and this is the area that we our this is where our star seeded at that area, that quarter of of the zodiac.
Mhm.
Uh huh. Where those constellations, the constellation of the dog, Sirius, the Orion constellation, and the constellation, or the should I say, the star system of the Pleiades. Pleiades really isn't a constellation; it's like a whole lot of stars. So, okay, so I just wanted to put that part in there. So, you go ahead.
I got you. I got you. Now you're absolutely right. Getting back to the pyramid. Yeah, we know this. Modern scientific observation can't describe it because they so based on empirical evidence, and their empirical evidence is only measured by the five senses and basic mathematics. But when we look back at our ancient, uh, um, you know, spiritual practices, we had a lot of priesthoods that facilitated what we call funerary rites and practices. Meaning, funerary rites and practices mean this: knowing why you incarnated, where you incarnated from, and then after you transition from this earthly body, where you going.
Right.
Basically what it was about. It's like because we also understood, and this is one of the reasons we started building a lot of the megalithic structures, is so because we knew they stand the test of time, they harness energy, and we align them with particular constellations, galaxies, and celestial bodies, so that those devices can help guide us to and fro. Because we knew we was about to go into this Kali Iron Age, and it was about to get rough. We knew it was about to get rough, right? We saw it coming, but with all of that being said, and I'm gonna start landing this plane here. Again, how important it is for us to create our own organic matrix, because our circadian, our circa-monthly, our circa-annual rhythms of our body are always going to be in tune with the whatever quote unquote time frequency that we are operating on and collectively subscribing to, right?
Right.
So when we look at an astrology system, I've already, this is no boast to brag. I mean, this is not for me. This is for the people. This ain't information. I'm a gatekeeper or anything like that. My intention is to convey it to the masses, and whoever sees the beacon of light will be attracted. But creating a new cosmology system that has all of our ancestors and quote unquote Neteru revered within it, recalculating the mathematical system, which is usually the foundation of any cosmology system. Because again, let me come back to it. Cosmology is astrology and astronomy combined, and astronomy is the mathematical portion of it. That's us calculating the celestial body movement and function. And so again, that is what you make it. You can observe Jupiter orbiting around in its own track around the sun, and divide the time up however you see fit. All right. But we must do it based on for lack of a better word, divine timing and actual timing, because actual timing is organic. Everything else is just an illusion. Now, here's the thing. Just because it's an illusion doesn't not make it real. Because if you are, or let's say if we are observing and subscribing to it, aka believing it, then it becomes reality. At least it becomes our collective reality. It becomes our collective reality. So once we begin to get comfortable and confident with saying, hey, you know, to this day, this month, this year is relative to nature that I reflect from here on out. In other words, the nature that we respect. That begins to shift the mind and also shift the body's circadian, monthly, and annual rhythms to a totally different frequency, which may resonate with these constellations, these high vibratory entities and beings, and let's just say high vibratory family out there in the universe. Because you got to think of it like this: if you ain't got the telephone number to your family, how you gonna get in touch with them? If you ain't dialing up the right frequency, all right? So again, that's how important it is for us to create our own matrix. And also what ends up happening is once we start unsubscribing from an illusionary parasitic European matrix of existence, we start ridding the planet of them that much faster. We start ridding the planet of that ignorant and low vibrational frequency. Now, I'm not saying, you know, we're gonna have some Caucasians that look at what we do and say, hey, listen, we want to be a part of that because we see the demonic stuff they're doing over here. We don't want to be a part. We want to go with y'all. You know, we have to make a decision. But saying all of that to say this, that's how important it is for us to recalibrate our mind. Dad, you say this all the time. You know, the mind has a way of correcting itself. It absolutely does. Although we have been subscribing to this illusionary matrix system all of this time, so many of my generation are breaking loose from it and saying, just them asking me, is time real, is a example of that. But they saying, this don't even make no sense. So they trying to get out of it, but we're going to have to give our people the not an alternative, but a true frequency to tap into. All right. So I'll land at that because I know we 47 minutes over the hour. And but you know, we definitely had to honor Mama Kelly coming on. Great input and conversation. And I'm gonna close it on out. Listen, you know, anybody got anything else to say?
Hey, all I gotta say is we changing the frequency, we adjusting. We've done it. We tried other ways. It's time for a new plan. We have the plan. Star seeds come together. We must demonstrate by example. We will manifest by example, and then all of the other humans will pick up in their timing through their senses, whether it's through sight, smell, taste, touch, or hearing, or telepathically. And so we, the star seeds, must start this movement. We must start the motion of tapping into that frequency. And the frequency is already demonstrated. It's shutting them down. But if you continue to sit next to it, it's just like if you go in the car and rob a bank, you may not be robbing the bank or came up with a plan, but you in that car. You all going to jail. It's the same thing the way karmas are going to do. So you got to separate and start to change this program. Stop supporting this Luciferian agenda. That's it.
Indeed. All right. This has been Straight Talk Network. We love y'all as always. Peace and love.